They will tell you to be kind, to be fair, to be moral. They will teach you that righteousness leads to reward, that virtue is its own victory, that the good are remembered and the ruthless are forgotten. But the history books tell a different story. The truth? No one remembers the kind soul who lost the war. Because history, as it's written, does not concern itself with sentiment. It concerns itself with outcomes. Julius Caesar didn't rise by being merciful. He crossed the Rubicon with blood in his teeth and Rome at his feet. Morality didn't crown him emperor. Power did. And when his own Senate turned against him, it wasn't kindness that tried to save him. It was fear that had faded. Caesar understood that sympathy was no substitute for strategy. He knew that leniency could be interpreted as weakness. When he gave mercy, it was calculated. When he dealt punishment, it was final. Alexander the Great razed cities to the ground, not because he hated them, but because he knew the weight of reputation. Cities surrendered before his armies arrived, because fear traveled faster than diplomacy. You've heard the names of Caesar, Alexander, Napoleon. But can you name the rulers who lost gracefully? The kings who stepped aside peacefully? The leaders who chose compassion over conquest? You can't. Because history doesn't reward mercy. It rewards dominance. It rewards results. In every era, the moral man has been used as a tool. By kings, by clergy, by corporations. Moral man is predictable. Moral man can be guilted, leveraged, and broken. The unmoral man, he is chaos. And people fear chaos more than evil. Niccolo Machiavelli understood this. In The Prince, he writes, "It is better to be feared than loved if one cannot be both." Why? Because fear ensures survival. Love ensures vulnerability. Fear demands silence. Fear commands caution. Love invites betrayal. History has proven that moral ideals are often masks for hidden motives. Empires that claim to spread faith used that faith as justification for slaughter. Leaders who preached unity divided nations when it served their rise. We are told to follow ethical rules, not because the world values morality, but because it wants us manageable. A good man may be admired. A ruthless man will be remembered. Every empire that shaped this world did so through force, not favor. The Ottomans, the Mongols, the British, the Romans. They did not ask. They took. They did not wait for the world to approve their morality. They moved with purpose. They crushed opposition. They rewrote laws in their image. And when they were done, history called them civilizers. Because the victor writes the narrative. Morality is often decided after the war is won. Victory writes the script. Even modern giants follow this code. Amazon dominates because it moved fast and crushed competition. Apple charges what it wants because it redefined the market. Elon Musk is not loved for being soft. He's feared for being relentless. Their methods are questioned, their ethics debated. But their success is undeniable. Because results silence critics. If you achieve enough, the world forgets how you did it. They want you soft. They want you hesitant. Because a man who doubts himself can be controlled. A man who worries about being liked can be steered. Society promotes goodness, not because it wants you strong, but because it wants you obedient. Be kind when you have leverage, not when you need it. Do good when it makes you strong, not when it makes you vulnerable. Goodness, when exploited, becomes a leash. Compassion without control becomes a cage. And when you're no longer useful to those you served, they will not remember your kindness. They will remember only whether or not you won. Here is the trick the powerful use. They demand morality from others, while abandoning it themselves. They preach peace, while investing in weapons. They speak of fairness, while monopolizing power. Because if you hold others to a moral code while freeing yourself from it, you control the rules of the game. The weak play fair, the strong play to win. When a tyrant demands morality, he isn't asking for ethics. He's asking for weakness in his enemies. And when you try to fight injustice with idealism, you bring a philosophy to a battlefield. You don't win wars with kindness. You win wars with strategy. To seize power, one must first kill the illusion that fairness will get you there. Power is not inherited through approval. It is taken through strategy, timing, and audacity. Napoleon once said, "Take time to deliberate. But when the time for action comes, stop thinking and go in." That is the language of those who reshape the world. The soft delay, the bold strike. History does not remember the man who waited for the perfect moment. It remembers the man who acted and forced others to adjust. The brutal truth? You can be correct. You can be righteous. You can be compassionate. But if you lose, none of it will matter. There is an obsession in this world with being liked. Social media thrives on approval. Politicians chase it. Influencers feed off it. But being liked is a shallow form of power. To be feared means to be respected without being present. To be liked means to be accepted, but often ignored. When your enemies like you, it means you've made yourself harmless. And when history is written, no one writes songs about the man who made everyone comfortable. They write about the one who shattered illusions. Being feared does not mean being evil. It means being formidable. Let's be clear. There is a difference between brutality and calculated force. The former is madness. The latter is power. Genghis Khan didn't conquer half the known world by being reckless. He built networks of loyalty, discipline, and fear. Cities would send emissaries before he even arrived, begging for mercy, offering tribute. That's not luck. That's controlled cruelty. A power so overwhelming, it created obedience through mere suggestion. Fear does not need to be loud. Often, it works best in silence. Impossibility. History is full of hypocrites who wore the mask of virtue. Churchill was hailed as a hero, while his policies starved millions in Bengal. American presidents are praised for freedom, while funding secret wars across the globe. Why are they still celebrated? Because they won. Because their results built narratives. Morality is retroactive. The same action, when done by the loser, is condemned. When done by the victor, is called necessary. This is not justice. It is narrative warfare. And those who win control the story. The powerful understand that legacy is not built on truth. It's built on mythology. You must become larger than life, unpredictable, distant. The less they understand you, the more they project. And projection is a powerful drug. You are not required to explain yourself to the world. You are required to dominate it so fully that it spends centuries trying to understand how you did it. That's how myths are born. And myths never die. Each era rewrites morality to suit its rulers. What was once criminal becomes noble. What was once sacred becomes obsolete. Slavery was legal, then outlawed. Conquest was holy, then condemned. But what never changes is the power of outcome. Those who build, those who win, those who reshape. They are always remembered. Morality is the theater. Power is the script. Write yours. Choose to be remembered, not pitied, not admired. Remembered. Leave behind not tears, but tremors. Not applause, but silence. Not peace, but a question. How did he do it? Because the world doesn't remember intentions. It remembers outcomes. It remembers victories. It remembers force. Be the one they whisper about in rooms you've never entered. Be the one whose name lives longer than his breath. History rewards results, not morality. And your legacy begins the moment you stop asking for permission.